This video, I'm going to show you how to stop believing in yourself and how to start being in the high vibrational state you are meant to be in. This is an absolute game changer. I believe this video can and will change your life. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how beliefs, which we think are the major thing that we must become aware of in order to change our life, why it's not so much about changing our beliefs into taking on some type of new belief, but it's more about going beyond beliefs entirely. And the reason I say this is because the more I've gone through this rabbit hole of understanding the metaphysics of how we create our own reality, the more I've also become aware that every single belief that we can possibly have is a limitation in of itself. Now, what I mean by this is even if you have a belief that says that, say, for example, the one that a lot of people will understand is if we have a belief that says, oh, I can only make $50,000 a year, what'll happen is having that belief, even if you believe you can make more, that's still a limitation in of itself, because you'll use that belief for a certain period of time, but you will eventually push through to another level. So the idea is to understand that these beliefs are in a way stories that we tell ourselves. So that's the first thing about this that we must understand. Our beliefs are stories we tell ourselves about who we are. And each one of us has a story that we've agreed to based on many times the family that we may have grown up in. Maybe there's a certain cap that we thought we were able to how we had the potential of. Therefore, we acquired the same agreement. The stories we have are based on agreement. Those agreements could be, those stories could be in many different areas of our life. For example, maybe you noticed that in your family, there was a certain relationship dynamic between your mom and your dad. Well, now you may be playing out a certain relationship dynamic in your life because you've agreed to it, or maybe you've not agreed to the way that they've gone about it and you've agreed to something else. You see, but at any level, any limiting belief you have has come from some level of agreement. You've agreed that this is the way reality is, then it remained on autopilot, and then you continue to experience that over and over and over again with repetition. So in a way, we've reprogrammed and programmed ourselves to be in a certain type of reality. Now, while a lot of my older YouTube videos did talk about how our beliefs create our reality, this is about understanding that there is a level that is beyond belief. And when you go beyond belief and you go into being, this is where everything begins to change. But first, we have to become aware and we have to learn how to change our beliefs to begin with. Now, first off, just to give this context, I am in Tulum right now. I'll be here for a month, and I'll be making a lot of videos here, and there's a lot of bugs around, so if you see me scratching myself and stuff, it's because I got bug bites. There's bug bites on my ankles, there's bug bites. Maybe that's a story I'm telling myself. I don't know, I'm just saying. But that's if I'm scratching myself, now you know, okay? Anyways, when it comes to this process of understanding our beliefs, now normally we'd say, okay, well, I believe right now I am unworthy, so now I'm going to believe that I'm worthy. I'm going to have this belief that I'm worthy. I'm going to wire it in. But you see, that is still giving energy to the old reality. We still would be feeding the old reality of feeling unworthy, even though we're trying to focus on something else. The key to this is reinvesting our faith and our focus in a new paradigm, a new way of thinking, a new way of being, which is beyond belief. And being is about understanding that this is the key. This is the key to this whole video, this whole process that I'm sharing with you. Whatever story you come up with, whatever beliefs you have, they are still at their core an illusion. Our reality is a form of illusion. We experience our reality through the five senses. We think this is who I am, this is my avatar body, this is how I experience reality. But the key is knowing that even though this preferred reality that we have certain beliefs about may be a certain perpetual reality we keep on creating, even if we develop a better reality, it is still just as much an illusion as the old reality, which may be less of something we prefer. Now, the power in this is that we don't get too intertwined inside our own type of creation. That's why the Toltecs, they call us all artists. We are all artists creating our own life. And And when it comes to this, it's about becoming aware. You know, there's a deep, the Toltecs, the Aztecs, very much in the Mayan culture here in Tulum, which has the Mayan ruins, which we're going to be going to today or tomorrow, I believe. And the very deep connection to that philosophy, to that way of life. And there's something about it that really resonates with me. But when it comes to this understanding our beliefs and how our beliefs create our reality, it's about really knowing that yes, our beliefs create our reality, but even if we develop a better reality with a better belief system, it's still an illusion. It's important to understand that, because when we understand that beliefs are easy to change, our story is easy to change, then our reality becomes easy to change. Some people will say, well, yes, I intellectually understand that, but how do I actually make that change in reality? Well, it's about being aware that because it is a form of illusion, and because our reality is something that is flexible based on what we believe it to be, or the story that we tell ourselves, we can then see that what we must do is we must reinvest and take our faith out of the old story by seeing it as an illusion. And the more you become aware of it, the more obvious it becomes that this is an illusion. Now, for example, if I were to say, look at your story right now, and look at your life in general. You want to know what your beliefs are? Look around. Look around. If you believe that you are only capable of, you're not capable of being in a happy relationship, and you're like, well, do I believe I can be in a happy relationship or not? Then see what's in your reality right now. If you want to know how much you think you are worthy of making per year as far as abundance goes, then look at your current life and where your current story is. You can see in the outside what is being reflected from the inner story and the inner belief system. And as you become aware of it, you can then see where you currently are. You can kind of use it as a barometer. But then you could start to question these aspects. You can start to question certain things. Why do you believe that you're only able to make $50,000 a year? Why do you believe that you're only able to be in a certain type of relationship, or one that isn't, or in a lack of relationship? Why do you believe this? And as you start to see that certain points in your past, when you were a kid maybe, you agreed to it. You agree that this is the way the world works. We stop becoming curious at a certain point in our life, and we start just taking on and piling on the luggage of our parents, our family, of our society, of our culture, and that continues to perpetuate itself over and over and over again. So the major part of this process, 90% of the work of transforming your life and going beyond belief, is simply becoming aware of the beliefs and the stories you currently have about the way reality works. Become aware of when you agreed to it, because then as you become aware of it, as you see that, yes, my dad or mom lived in a similar way, then you see that it's a story that's it's on autopilot. You might not be aware of it, but it continues to perpetuate itself over and over and over again. And the more we become aware of this story, the more we see it as a story. Now imagine there's a movie of your own life. You are the main character. You may, though, as the main character, been playing a role that isn't really you. You may have been playing a role of the way your family wanted you to be, the way your friends wanted you to be, the way that everyone expects you to be. You've been acting consistent to that role, thinking that that's who you are. But the thing is based on that role, there's been a certain story that's been perpetuating itself. And part of that story for most people is that you are meant to be a cameo in everyone else's movie, rather than being the star of your own movie. This has to do with being at the cause and not the effect. Most people in reality are at the effect. They have everything else that's causing them to be in a certain way. They probably identify a lot with the victim archetype, where things are happening to them rather than for them. And because of that, that perpetuates a certain reality over and over and over again. So the power of what I'm sharing today is understanding that your story has been on autopilot. At a certain point in your past, you agreed to certain things, even if it was something like somebody called you a name when you were a kid in middle school. If somebody were to call you a name and you were to internalize that, say, this is who I am, they must be right, an agreement, someone else's belief that you've taken in on your own, then what happens is that becomes a part of your reality, and it becomes on autopilot until you become aware of it. But remember, 90% of the work is becoming aware of the beliefs that you have. And when you become aware of the beliefs or the stories you have, you can start to question them. Question your beliefs. Question why you believe them. Question when you agreed to it in the past. And as you become aware of this, you then see, do I want to keep living this out over and over and over again? Then you start to see it as a story. You know, you can go to a movie and you can watch a certain movie, and when you leave the movie theater, you can begin to forget about it. Unless it's a really good movie, then you might remember it for a while. But regardless, you get to choose. This is all according to you. So when we talk about belief and faith, it's you've already been investing so much belief into these things, so much you've been believing the lies you've been told. You've been believing the limiting beliefs that you have. You've been believing in these stories, and that's why you're experiencing things that you don't prefer in your life. Now, is the key to develop a new belief, a new story? It can be, but you have to do it from the level of awareness that even that is a form of illusion. Even that is flexible. Even that is a story that you may have for a certain period of time, but you may eventually let go of it. You see? That's where the power of this is. Yes, it's a funny idea because you're going to do the same thing regardless. But the thing that I'm encouraging you to do is to create with awareness, to create consciously, to become aware and to become the artist rather than the person that's just kind of slapping stuff around, which some people may consider art, but nonetheless, there's no awareness there. And the key to this is be doing things more deliberately, doing things more intensely. And when you do that, you'll find that then you start to create a masterpiece. But a masterpiece that you're not completely attached to. A masterpiece that you can begin to see and still begin to look into other areas of how you can modify it. As if you're already as if you're broken or something, but it's not like that. It's more like you can look at it, you can see, become aware, and as you become aware, you start to take your power back. But back to the movie analogy, you may have been playing a role that isn't really you. The being you. Being free of beliefs. You know, that's why I think sometimes people will do things like, there's this like thing you can do that we were just invited to that has to do with like dancing blindfolded. So no one else, you don't have to worry about the judgment of others, the judgment of yourself. But it allows you to be free. There's no rigidity, rules, nothing. You just do whatever. Now, in a similar way, what happens with our beliefs, though, is we put ourselves in little rules, little agreements about the way reality works, this little box. The key, though, is being spontaneous and doing things beyond the current level of identity, the current story that you have. Go beyond that. Go beyond that. And you go beyond it by doing new things, getting into a new environment, getting into uncertainty. And being is always connected to something you are passionate about. Always. And being is the key to going beyond the beliefs. Who are you? What is your identity? You see, if I were to be like, I believe I can attain a certain level of success. I believe it. Deeper than that is the identity, is who are you? And the reason I make daily YouTube videos, and I have for over 3 years, isn't because it gets more subscribers. The reason I do daily videos is because it's who I am. Somebody that makes videos, somebody that creates, somebody that puts out content, somebody that expresses myself. So I've gone beyond belief of, can I get to the next level? Can I get to the next level of success? To being who I am. And because it's a part of my identity, that's where everything begins to change. Being is about knowing you are the star of your own movie. You may have been playing the cameo. You may have been playing the role that isn't feeling like it resonates as much as it used to. But what I'm saying is you can take your star role back. And even as you take your star role back, you can start to become aware of the role you were playing, and you can start to observe it. Literally, look at your life and look at yourself as the main character and observe yourself, because then you get to a new level of awareness where you can start to observe things in your life. I can observe some of my own limiting beliefs. You've probably seen my work ethic. You've probably seen how much I create videos. Part of me may believe that I always have to be doing something, always have to. be creating more and more and more. But part of it as well is this is just who I am. This is what I enjoy doing. It doesn't feel like work to me. You see, but I can look at myself as the star of my own movie, and I can see those beliefs. I can see that script that I may have agreed to. I may have agreed to it back in February 2017 when I made the choice to make daily videos. And then when everything started to grow very quickly, I started to associate that level of success with it. So then I almost get fueled by the taking of the action, because that action to me represents more abundance and success. You see, but I can see that in the movie character as I remove myself from just the avatar character. So the power of this video is knowing that before you watch this video, you were still creating your own reality. You may have just been not doing it with that much awareness. After watching this video, you can make the choice that you are going to consciously create your own reality and go in the direction of you want. And you are going to focus on being, on expression, on what you're passionate about, on your identity, the way that you view yourself, on being who you really are. Most of who you are, by the way, may be a filter, it may be something else that really isn't you. If you're a people pleaser, and you're always trying to make everyone else happy, you're always trying to live in according to their rules, to the way they expect you to be, that probably isn't really who you are. It's just that at a certain point, you may have thought that it was fearful if you were to speak out or go against the grain. But when you become aware of it, you can then see, no, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to have my own boundaries. I'm going to say what I feel. You see? This is about expressing yourself. This is about being. This is about going beyond the old identity, the old story that you told yourself, the old role that you were playing, and giving up the role, getting rid of the script, and deciding to be yourself. And being is always connected to your passion. Are you doing what you're passionate about? Are you calling your own shots in reality? Are you putting intention and focus where you want to go? Because if you are, that's when you're really going to see your reality change. This is about going beyond belief, beyond the old story, and going into being, going into you being yourself, you being more spontaneous, you stepping into uncertainty, you becoming aware of your old role and then changing it according to the way and how you prefer to be. So this is the power of going beyond belief and going into being. And when you do that, I promise you so much in your life will begin to change. So if you haven't heard already, I have something new. It's a survey that you can take that will show you and reveal to you your current level of vibration, your current calibration. And I use archetypes in order to explain the different levels. And if you want to calibrate your vibration, you go to whatsmyvibration.com. It takes about a minute or two to fill out that survey, and then you will get an archetype that reveals to you your current level, plus I give you a meditation to get to the next level of consciousness, plus I'll send you emails showing you how to get to the next level. So that's something, whatsmyvibration.com, it'll be in the top of the description links below. Other than that, like this video if you liked it. Let me know if you like these videos outside. I've been doing videos inside, but if you like them outside, go ahead and let me know, comment below. And as always, I will see you on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.